Michael, it's going to be the most crucial weekend yet.
Yeah, Stevie, round 3, obviously lots of drama in the group stages. Group 1 has the potential for a real tight finish. 2 games on Saturday at 4 o'clock, Stevie. The Brackens, JK Brackens, are playing Kilsheelan, and Ardfinnan are playing Grange Mokler. And depending on the way the results go, we could have 3 teams on 4 points at the top, or 3 teams on 2 points at the bottom of the group. But if we look at JK Brackens and Kilsheelan in the first game, a win or a draw will do for Brackens, and they'll top the group. But I suppose if Kilsheelan get a win, then there's the potential for the 3-way tie, providing Ardfinnan win the second game, and score difference is very tight in it, so it'll all come down to the final games. The Brackens, they played hurling last week against Killadangan, played without Paddy Cadell and Cathal Scully. I believe had the game been knockout, they would have been ready to go, which would probably mean that they will be available for this weekend. Depending, I suppose, on the thought above in Templemore, do they think they have enough to beat Kilsheelan without risking them, or will they need to play? I suppose that's something for Shane Keegan and his management team that they need to look at before Saturday. Kilsheelan, very disappointing in the intermediate hurling, went out of the championship last weekend. That won't have gone down well, so they'll maybe looking for a little bit of a reprieve here.
Yeah, because the form has dipped a lot.
Yeah, it certainly has, but I think if you look at the team, in 2021 they were in the county intermediate hurling final, losing out to Mine, and I think they're missing 6 players off that team, Stevie, that are not available either through immigration or injury, and that's an awful loss for any team, let alone one trying to ply its trade in the intermediate hurling. But this will be a real close game, I think. I think Kilsheelan will give Brackens a lot of it, but I think in the bigger scheme of things, Brackens will be looking at trying to win a county final after being in the final last year and again 3 years ago. So I think they will look to go straight into the knockout stages, no questions asked, and they should come out of this one with a victory. The other game in that group is Ardfinnan and Grange Mokler. Grange Mokler have had a tough start to their senior championship aspirations. They've lost twice by 6 points. Missing players, especially the 3 Lions from last year, which are huge losses to them. Ardfinnan had a great win over Kilsheelan in round 1 by a point, and then lost out to the Brackens by 4 in round 2. So a win for them will probably see them into the quarterfinals. So look, it's all to play for. I think on form you'd have to say Ardfinnan probably will get over the line in this one, but Grange Mokler have nothing to lose. I mean, there is no relegation, so they'll probably just go out with everything in their power to try and win this one, and maybe they're targeting this game from the start. They saw it as one that and it's a South rivalry as well, Stevie, so you just never know what you get in
it certainly
in
is. We'll continue then, Michael.
Yeah, so Group 2 then, Stevie, this is the 3-team group. Cahir have played both their games, 1 win and 1 loss, and Upperchurch and Ballina square off against each other tomorrow evening, 6:45 in Newport. Upperchurch had a 1-point win over Cahir in round 2. Ballina had a 2-point loss to Cahir in round 1. So that this shows at the moment the score difference in this group is the Church are +1, Cahir are +1, and Ballina are -2. But a 2-point win for Ballina puts them through, and Upperchurch will be out. The Church got back on track in hurling over the last 2 weeks. 2 good wins. Form will be good there, and they have done very well in the football championship over the last couple of years, and they'll want to continue that. Ballina, second year up at senior, haven't had Stephen O'Brien for the last couple of weeks, Stevie, and I mean he's a huge loss in hurling. He's a massive loss in football for them. His presence around the field, his size, and one of the powers got injured as well early, and he didn't feature since either. So if they're back, you certainly have to give Ballina a fighting chance in this one, but if they're not, I do think the Church will come out of this one regardless, but if Ballina don't have their injured players, they probably won't be up to scratch on it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. John, we're going to move on to yourself. You're now going to continue, and what are your views?
Yeah, Stevie, Group 3, this is the standout group, I think, in the in the competition, and we're starting off there on Sunday evening. 3 games on at 3:30 on Sunday in this, Stevie, down in Kilsheelan there. Commercials and Mile Rovers. Potentially a precursor to maybe a county final, Stevie. That's the significance of it. Commercials have 3 points from their 2 outings. Win over Arvale Rovers in round 1, and a draw the last day with Lochmore there when they came from 6 points down with 15 minutes to go to tie the game. Mile Rovers there, first round victory over Ballyporeen, and they got a walk over last 2 weeks ago against Killinall. So it's very, very hard one to call there. Round 1 there they had Arvale Rovers there. They had Cian Smith there with 2-1 against Arvale, and in the last day he popped up with 4 points there from frees. Mile Rovers there had they had what do you call him there, Dean English there, 3 goals against Ballyporeen in New Inn the first day, and Gerard Sullivan there, I think I spoke about him before. He was operating at full forward, kicked 4 great points that day, long range points from play. He's a Kerry chap living down there in that neck of the woods now. Look at it, both of them anyway are going to advance to the knockout stages, Stevie, and I think actually going a little further, they'll probably both of them could end up in a semi-final, not necessarily against one another, but who will win on Sunday? I suppose Mile Rovers have played them this year. They played them in the first round of the County League. I think they won by a point. They played them in the final of the County League, and I think they won by a point. And they played them in the South final, and I think they won it by 2 points. So that'll tell you how close they are. But Mile Rovers seem to have the hand over them this year anyway. Look at, I wouldn't be surprised if Mile Rovers, came out on top on Sunday evening, Stevie. That brings us on into the second game on Sunday in Dundrum. Lochmore against Arvale Rovers. Lochmore on 3 points. First round victory over Killinall, and a draw the last day against Commercials. I suppose
Arvales are going to find it tough here now.
They are going to find it tough. Arden Jones scored 6 of their 8 points against Commercials in the round 1.
But he's a prolific scorer.
From place ball, Stevie, and he wasn't there the last day when Rovers got a victory over Ballyporeen in what to me was a dreadful first half, with a terrible lot of backward play and lateral play, but they all came out in the second half and had a go at one another, and it was a hugely entertaining game in that. But Paddy Dalton was pulling all the strings the last day for Rovers in that game, and the young what do you call him?
John, in fairness, Lochmore Castellani, have they got too many aces in the deck?
They probably have, but Liam Tracy, who pulled the strings in the opening game against Killinall, he's injured. He got injured before half time that day. He missed the last day, but Kieran McGrath, and the other McGraths there, they seem to go right well against Commercials there, but they collapsed totally in the last 15 minutes against Commercials. They led 2-9 to 9 points with 15 minutes to go, and Commercials scored the last 6 points, Stevie, to draw the game in I suppose a minute into injury time. But look at up to that, really Lochmore hadn't much football played, and they had they were involved in the hurling in the mid-championship, won the mid-championship, involved in the county. They've topped the group in the county in hurling now, so they have a couple of weeks rest now from hurling, and I'd say there was a lot of training, a lot of football done during the week there, during this week, and I think I think there's only going to be one winner here, Stevie.
Lochmore Castellani. Okay, John.
We have the third game on Sunday in that group at 3:30 in Ardfinnan. Ballyporeen against Killinall. Neither side have any victory so far this year. Ballyporeen going out to Mile Rovers the first day. Really only kicked 2 points in the opening half against Mile Rovers. And in the last quarter, Sweeney there, Conor Sweeney, he kicked 2-4 from play, and he kicked 2-6 out of their 2-7 that day, Stevie. And then the last day against Arvale Rovers again, second half, surged by Rovers, got him over the line. What about Killinall? It's hard to know because they went down to Lochmore in round one, won 10-7 points, and then gave a walk over to Mile Rovers in round two. Now, I suppose they were trying to concentrate on the hurling, but they went out last weekend, gone out of the hurling, their season is over. So I suppose they'll have a cut at it on Sunday against their south neighbours again. And you know, they're probably capable of beating Ballyporeen if they put their mind to it. They have a lot of good footballers down there. Now, how it is going to go, I think with 4 teams coming out of that group, and I have forecasted that it would be Commercials, Mile Rovers and Lochmore, with the other place up for grabs. At the moment, Arravale Rovers are in pole position. Now, what will happen if...
But that could all change.
What will happen if Killinall get over Ballyporeen, and they haven't played one another in the group? So then it's down to computers and whatever you have and calculators. So look, I have a feeling that Killinall are capable, if they put their mind to it, I have to add that, to get over Ballyporeen.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Intermediate Football Championship. Mike, Group 1.
Yeah, Stevie, Group 1 is interesting group. Couple of walkovers in the first 2 rounds, but Galtee Rovers have topped the group and are straight into the semi-finals. So that's a great result for them. They had a 2-18 to 10 point victory over Mine there in round 2. Owen Halpin and Jack Crow getting the goals. They were only a point up at half time, but had a real powerful second half. 2 second half goals, one either side of half time, which gave them the victory. And look, I think I've probably been mentioning Galtee a good bit, even on the radio or on the pod.
Well, and rightly so, because they have a lot of good youth coming up.
Yeah, and they're in the semi-final now. This is a position they were in last year. They're in it with a round to spare. Now, look, they're still involved in Junior B football in West Tipperary, so they don't have the luxury of resting guys, I suppose, tomorrow. So they'll on 6 p.m. in Cashel on Saturday, but they'll still have to go out and win the game, which they will. Mike Harkey haven't had much interest in this football championship so far. They scored 2 points against a Mine team in round 1, and they didn't play and give a walkover in round 2. So I couldn't see anything, only a Galtee Rovers victory here. The second game, I suppose, is for second place in the group and a place in the quarterfinals. Mullinahone and Mine Temple Dewey. A draw will do Mine because of the score difference based on the fact that Mullinahone didn't play in round 2. Look, I really hope that Mine win this one, Stevie, because they've played both their games in good faith, and this is their third one. You know, Mullinahone haven't played a game yet. You know, so it's look, Mullinahone will be at full strength. I would say very similar to Killinall that John just spoke about. They'll be at full strength tomorrow. If they put their minds to it, they're more than capable of winning it. Conor Whelan and Mikey O'Shea came on as subs last weekend in the hurling, so they'll be fit and ready to go for the football tomorrow or on Saturday. It's so hard to call because you just don't know who's going to play it.
Those 2 teams, you couldn't call us really.
No, but I just hope that Mine play it because win it because they've played both their games in good faith so far.
Great stuff. John, we're going to move on to groups 2 and 3 combined.
Yeah, Group 2 there, Sunday 1:45 in Littleton. Feathered up against Thurles Sarsfields. I suppose 2 different trajectories. I think Sarsfields are probably on a downward one, where Feather seems to be on an upward one. It is a repeat of last year's quarter-final there, which the Sarsfields won by 2-13 to 1-4. A big victory they had there. But since that there, as I said, Feather came out in round 1 this year against Rockwell Rovers, and I thought Rockwell were probably favourites going into that, having come down from senior last year. Feathers have been trying for a while now to make that breakthrough back up to senior, with little success, I have to say. Tommy Sheehan there is the man at the helm this year, and you know they made great strides, as I said, beating Rockwell Rovers, but then they came unstuck in round 2 against Golden, 15 points to 14. A Sam Hall free late on there, get the winning score for Golden in that match. Sarsfields, went down to Golden in round 1 there, and they had little luck either in round 2. So look at, I think here, nothing short of a feather to a win there, I think will be on the cards, you know. And that brings us to the other game in a group, Golden against Rockwell, an all-West derby, you could say, neighbours. That's on in Dundrum at 1:45 or 1:45 on Sunday. Golden had their 2 victories so far over Sarsfield in round 1. A good score on that one, and against Fed Up by the minimum the last day out. Look at, I think this is going to be the game of the round in the intermediate, because, like, you know, I think that you could end up with 3 teams on 4 points, and then you're down to the mini league, as the fellas says, between the 3 of them. At the moment, Feathers have +1, Golden have +1, and Rockwell have -2. That'll tell you how tight it is. Something like Mike was talking about there in another group. Golden have a lot of young guys coming through. A lot of that, I'd say they would have probably 7 or 8 of their team are under 19, Stevie, and they were the same team that done battle with Galtee Rovers there in the under 17 and under 19 over the last number of years there, and I think while Galtee won the 19 in the West there by a small number, when they were under 17 there, they met in the round, they met in the West final, and they met in the county final. I think Golden got over the line in the county final up in Anacarty. But look, back to Sunday anyway. I would expect Golden to continue on their run on this one, because look, they escaped relegation last year when they put down Clonmel Og in the final round. But look at Rockwell are not playing as well as they were playing last year, Stevie. But the matches I have seen them there, and they didn't get off to a great start in the county league. But look at, when the chips are down, Alan Maloney and company there, they'll be there. They'll be in with a shout. But I think Golden just a shade it, Stevie.
Okay. We'll continue then, John, on to the next group.
Then we're down to the last game in Group 2 of this Premier Junior Football. We have JK Brackens and Clonmel Og. This is a 3-team group, with Mile Rovers being the other team. Mile Rovers have played their 2 games and they have full points for the 2 games, and they're already through to the semi-final. Brackens, they beat Brackens by 3 points, and they beat Clonmel Og by 5. So that's really the only barometer that you can go on. Now, Mile Rovers haven't been using any of their panel, of that junior panel, so far in their games, and I don't expect them to see them use there, because it won't make any difference, because this game is on tomorrow night in Banshee, so they'll be, I suppose, at the same strength as they were the last day, and I'd expect Mile Rovers or Brackens to get over the line on this one, because they haven't used their, dipped into it either, and will be on before the senior match. So
okay.
Look at, they'll join Mile Rovers, I think, as the second team out of that in the semi-final.
Okay, it's back to Michael. We're going to the Premier Junior Football, Michael.
Yeah, Group 1, Stevie, in the Premier Junior. I suppose a little bit similar to what John said there with Mile Rovers. Cashel have this group topped, 2 wins from 2, and they're playing a Tracy's team who are have no chance of qualifying. It's probably a game neither team wanted. Cashel having a preliminary quarter-final in hurling coming up in 10 days' time, and Tracy's getting ready for a relegation battle from Premier Intermediate. So look, this game is slated for 6:45 in Clonoulty tomorrow. Cashel will probably not, they won't risk anyone that's carrying knocks, certainly. They've had a decent panel over their first 2 games, so I'd imagine they'll give everyone that isn't on their first hurling team a run out in this one if they want it. And this is a precursor to the I suppose the first ever West Premier Junior final, which will be played whenever it can be fixed. But I don't think we will see. We will see the best of both teams tomorrow night, Stevie. You will have to wait for the West final for that one,
Exactly.
The other game in that group, Father Sheehy's in Lockmore. Sheehy's have lost a game by 8 and won a game by 9. Lockmore have won a game by 17, and then they've lost to Cashel by 5. Based on the form, you'd have to say that Lockmore probably will have too much for Father Sheehy's coming into this one. The game is on tomorrow evening, so I would say Lockmore will have the luxury of having a full panel. Anyone that looks like they might play senior football will still be available to them tomorrow night. I think Lockmore will win it and qualify for the semi-finals of the Premier Junior. They're certainly well capable of it. Sheehy's struggling a little bit. A small club there in South Tip. Numbers is a struggle for them. I know that. They might get 21 players, but look, it would be nice to see Sheehy's getting the victory, but just based on the form in the group so far, I think Lockmore will win it.
You're going for Lockmore.
Yeah.
All right, then we're going to continue then. And what other game then, Michael, have we?
No, I'm done. I think John is done as well.
Yeah, John is done as well. So we have the 1 and 2 groups, 1 and 2 completed. Yeah. So folks, there you have it. Here you had the views of the two lads. That's Michael McCarthy and John O'Shea. And as you can see, we're coming to you here from the Plan on the Limerick Road here in Tipperary town. But again, gentlemen, thank you indeed for joining us.
No problem, Stevie.